whatever you want in life, money, health, friends, a career, it's all the same. The way you will get that is not by focusing on the result, it's by focusing on yourself. And that means I will teach you how to manipulate reality by playing it backwards. Not the way you have always tried. I will teach you a completely different way to achieve your goals. People try to change their environment, but what they actually have to change is themselves. So basically we live in a perception-based reality. That means that what we call reality, that is the physical plane, is not real or fake, or this world is not real or fake. This is just my mind perceives this world as real. And I can perceive the world as clean or dirty. But that's just how my mind perceives the world. And that works the same way in everything. So if you think you are a good person, you perceive yourself as a good person, you probably will be a good person. If you think that, for example, money is difficult to make, then you will struggle a lot to make money. Because you will basically design your future behavior basing on that statement that you believe is true. Money is difficult to make. So you understand reality in that way. So reality gets manifested inside your mind that way. So if you want to change the physical plane, you want money, you want to get muscles, you want better health, you want friends, you want a relationship or whatever, then you have to understand one thing. And that is basically my definition of manifestation. That one thing is simply the law of cause and effect. What this law says is there is no effect without the cause, and there is no cause without an effect. Every effect has its associated cause, and every cause has its associated effect. So if you don't have the effects you want in your life, that is money, friends, or whatever, that means you are not the cause. Because if you were the cause, you would already have it. Now, the problem is, you are not the cause, but you are still focusing on getting the effects. So that's a problem, because we're trying to create a reality from a frequency that is not aligned with that reality. So if you want to change your reality, don't focus anymore on the effects, because that's what I meant when I say that you are trying, or everyone is trying, like in general, maybe you're not, but in general people try to play reality backwards, because they try to focus on the effects and they never get it. They spend years, and sometimes they get something, but that's because over those years they, like little by little, they transformed themselves and became the cause. But that took years, and actually most of the things we want in life can take a couple of months to make, sometimes a year, sometimes a little bit more. But people sometimes struggle for years to get one thing. So that's like the point of this video. We will develop all our knowledge in this video based on this statement. If you want the effects that you have always wanted, then you will have to focus on the cause. That is you. And to focus on you, you have to focus on your mind. Because as I said earlier, like you interpret the environment, all the info that comes to you through your senses, you interpret those with your brain, and your brain runs a software. That software is your identity. So if you change the software, everything will change. It's like a computer. If you run Microsoft on a computer, or you run macOS, the hardware is like similar, it's the same hardware. But what changes is the software. So the software is your identity, and your identity is who you think you are, and you act basing on who you think you are, but you are not that. You just believe you are that, and you can change that. So let's see this in detail so we can actually change our lives. So we all have a brain, and that brain is our hardware. And our hardware has finite energy, because in our bodies we have finite energy, right? So if we have finite energy, we have to spend that energy in the smartest way possible. So the brain is responsible for spending that energy in a smart way. So what the brain does is automate processes. If you automate processes, you spend less amount of energy. So that's exactly what the brain does every time. We have what we call our unconscious mind. It's just a set of automatic systems that run in the background while we are conscious of other things. Those systems are many, but today we will focus on one, and that is our prediction system. So basically, our prediction system starts from a model of reality and ends up in action. The goal of our prediction system inside our brains is creating action with the least amount of energy possible. So the goal of our system is to create action, is to design what we are going to do. So if you want to wash your hands, you will probably use your prediction system to design that action. And you will not design it actually. You already have it, it's stored in your mind. Because you already know how to wash your hands and you don't make it conscious. You don't make the action conscious. You just wash your hands while you think about other stuff, right? So how do we do that? By creating a model of reality. A model of reality is all the memories and information that your brain creates. Every time you are alive, your brain experienced something because you socialize with somebody, or you hang out with friends, or you try to study, or you try to build a business, or you went to the gym, or whatever. I mean, maybe you are an artist and you painted many paintings. So all those experiences were stored in your brain because the brain knows that those experiences, if stored as memories, can be useful in the future to design actions and be successful. Because imagine you try to build a business, you do something like action A, and that action A makes you some money. So the brain stores action A because the brain says, okay, I will use action A to make money in the future, like repeatedly. Like we will repeat action A to make more money, right? So your brain is constantly storing info and memories. But info is all the conclusions you take from your memories. So memories by itself have no meaning, right? Because suppose you are shy. So one day you went to a place, a social public place, and you wanted to socialize with somebody. But you are shy, you believe you were shy in that time. So you approached this person and said hello and tried to interact. But the interaction ended up being awkward because you acted in an awkward way because you thought you were shy and unconfident. So what happens is your brain stores that memory and says, okay, I am shy, I am unconfident, I am not successful in this. So next time you try to socialize, you will use that info to do it. So if you use that info to do the things, you will run in automatic mode. So if you focus on the effects, but the system that runs in the background of your mind is executing basing on the same memories and same information that you used in the past, then you are likely to fail. Because suppose let's give this example. Suppose you were shy and now you want to be more confident and socially skilled. Then you go to a place and you try to socialize and you say, I will do better, but you're still running the old info and memories. Then you're going to fail because you are designing actions basing on something you believe is true about the past and you have evidence about it, that those are your memories. So you are likely to fail. Besides, this system is automatic. If you don't make it conscious, it will run in automatic. So, if you don't become aware of this model, you will never change your life. So become aware. So your brain creates two models of reality: your identity and your environment. Basically, a model is a simplification of what we think reality is. Like, we use models in physics, we use models in chemistry, and your brain also uses models of what the brain thinks, what reality is. So if you think, for example, that money is extremely difficult to make because money is scarce and the competition is like dangerous and difficult to beat, you believe that's true. So you will operate in that frequency, and from that frequency you will manifest the frequency into the physical plane. So if you believe deeply that money is extremely scarce and difficult to make, you will manifest that, so you will never make money. So if you focus on the effect, if you focus on making money, but deeply in your mind, you believe that making money is hard and you will struggle a lot because competence is big and dangerous. But you focus on making money, you are likely to fail again. Because you are manifesting this frequency, the frequency of who you are, who you believe you are. So a model is a simplification of reality. If you simplify something, you will probably spend less energy trying to solve problems. That's why we create models, because reality itself is complex. There are many variables. So if you simplify by creating a model, you can optimize energy consumption. So we need to create models. The thing here is not to stop using models. Our goal is to create the right model to accomplish your goals. So does it matter if money is abundant or scarce? I mean, money is not abundant or scarce, money just is. But if you believe money is abundant, you will probably spend all days scanning your environment, looking for opportunities to make money, because you know it is possible. Now, if you think money is scarce, no matter what reality is like, because reality is kind of relative in some way. If you think money is scarce, you will never scan your environment looking for opportunities. And if you find one opportunity, and you try to build something inside that opportunity to make money, your brain will be like, why would we spend energy into a project that will fail? Because money is extremely difficult to make. That's what you believe. So it doesn't matter what reality is like. Okay? It just matters what you believe, because that's the frequency you will manifest. So we create two models. We create a model of ourselves, of who we think we are. That's our identity. The model of who you think, who you believe you are, is how you are then. Because you act basing on what you believe of yourself. So if you think you are shy, you will be shy. If you think you are disciplined, you will be disciplined. If you think you are successful, you will be successful. There is no other choice. I mean, there's no other chance. If you think you are successful, you will be successful. You will manifest the frequency of who you are. And what you think of your environment is what you think of your environment. What you think your environment is like. I mean, if you think money is abundant or scarce, that's a belief about your environment. If you think people are good or evil, that's a belief about your environment. So the brain uses these models to do one thing. Your brain uses these models, so every time information comes to the brain through your senses, the brain interprets the information using the models and creates a prediction of what's going to happen. The brain tries to predict what's going to happen so it can design the best action with two goals: survival and reproduction, and optimization of energy consumption. So prediction allows us to spend less energy and increase chances of success in survival and reproduction. So take care, be careful. Your models will define your predictions, and your predictions will define your actions. So you have to be extremely aware of the models you have about yourself and about your environment if you want to change the effects you generate. Alright? This model in your brain is what defines your behavior. So this is what we call the frequency. Your frequency, who you think you are, your identity, is a model of yourself created inside your brain, and that's something you believe is true. So your identity is info you believe is true. And that info is not true or false. It's info you use to design actions because you believe that info is useful and true and useful to create new actions to increase chances of success. So, how do we change it? With one skill. That skill is called awareness. You have to become aware of who you are, of who you think you are, and then you have to embrace or embody a new identity. That's the process. In simple terms, you have to become aware of who you think you are currently, and you have to embody the new identity. So, first of all, you already became aware of this system running in the background of your brain. That's good. Now, the next step is to become aware of your specific system inside your brain. How? So, you will be aware of two things, mainly. Two groups of things. One is your thoughts, alright? You will have to be aware of your thoughts and beliefs and the predictions that your brain will make. Every time you want to do something, like you want to build a business, you have to focus for a couple of hours. You want to go to the gym, so you have to literally go to the gym in the next hour. You want to socialize, so you have a person in front of you that you don't know, but you want to get to know that person and make a new friend, so you want to approach that person. Or you want to build a relationship, so you want to approach a person you feel attracted to. Or you want, whatever you want, it's anything. Even washing your hands. Every time you are thinking about doing something that will, you think will get you closer to your goal, your brain will create a prediction basing on this. So this is like static. It's dynamic, it changes, but most of the time, it's static. This doesn't change usually if you don't make it conscious. It gets reinforced. You create new evidence that reinforces what you believe. So, you will use the static model to create a prediction. So predictions are dynamic, but they are similar, usually. So, if you want to approach a new person, but you think you're shy, or you think people are evil, and they don't like talking to people like you, or whatever, you will create a prediction that will state failure. So, you have two options. You can avoid the approach and not socialize, so you don't even try. You failed. Or you approach, but you are shy. So you fail, because the interaction will be awkward. But now, you have a third option. You become aware of this system. So you interrupt the prediction, and you say, this prediction is not true. This prediction that I will fail because I'm shy, or I will fail in the business because I am undisciplined, and I will scroll for hours instead of working. This is just a prediction that my mind made, basing on this information. This information is a simplification of reality. And reality is not true or false. It's just a model we build in our minds. So we interpret reality and we create reality in our minds. So, I believe I'm shy and incompetent, or undisciplined and unworthy. Then you become aware that that's just a thought. And thoughts are not real or fake. Thoughts just are. So when you understand that, you will have free will. I promise. When you understand that everything that happens in your mind, everything, is just a thought, and a thought is not real or fake. A thought just is, and you can literally pick the thoughts you want to create the life you want, then you will have real free will, and you will create the effects you want, whenever you want. So every time a prediction pops up in your mind, you go backwards. You go here, and you start understanding. Why did my brain create this prediction? Because you will probably have emotions attached to this prediction and memories. If you think you are going to fail, you will probably remember old memories of you interacting with people in an awkward way because you were shy. So you will think, like, the first thought that will pop up in your mind is like, oh, we have evidence that I was shy, that I am shy. We have a lot of evidence. I am shy, I cannot do this. This is so difficult. That's just a thought. That's just a thought. I know it sounds like, bro, if it was that easy, I would have changed my life years ago. But it is that simple. You have to realize that thoughts just are. They are not real or fake. And when a thought pops up in your mind, any thought, even the one that tells you who you like, your name, that's just a thought. I mean, keep believing your name. Keep believing that you are called that way. But you have to understand that that's just a thought. If you change that thought, you become a brand new person. So change your thoughts. Become aware of this system inside your brain. Change your life. Understand that thoughts just are. Understand that thoughts are just thoughts. It's just a mental event. It's just something that happens in your mind. And your mind is hardware that runs a software. So if you change the software, you can change your effects. You change the software, you change predictions, you change your actions, you change your outcomes. Those are your effects. So when you become aware of the negative prediction, you will try to visualize yourself with a positive prediction, with what you actually want to happen, with what you actually want to make it happen. When you visualize that way and you understand that thoughts just are, so you can just believe the new thought. I mean, you have no evidence to believe that next time you will be extremely confident and socialize successfully, or you will build the business you have always wanted, or you will get the grades that you have always dreamed about. You have no evidence? I mean, who cares? If you acquire the right thought, you will generate the right effects. You have to understand that the difference between someone successful and someone that is not successful is just their thoughts. So if you change your thoughts and get thoughts that are closer to the ones that a successful people in what you want has, then you will get the same results, because you will be running a similar software. And softwares of our brains are what generate our effects. And the software is who you think you are and what you think your environment is like. And the brain creates predictions basing on that info, and then decides the actions that bring your outcomes. So just stay aware. That's all you gotta do. Stay aware. You have to put this automatic system in manual mode. Run it in manual mode for a couple of days or weeks, and then it will become automatic again. But you will have rewired your brain to create a new identity. So that's your goal. Change who you think you are, and change what you think your environment is like in the right way, so you generate the right effects. So I really hope it helped. Thanks for watching. Bye.